What we call it. Okay, call this meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call. Andrew, please.
Sure. Councilmember Matt Watkins. Councilmember Larry McCon. Councilmember Bill Earl. Here. Vice Mayor Rick Johannes.
Here.
And Bill Rattler.
Here. I have a motion to excuse those two.
I make a motion to excuse.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, public comments. Okay, anything now new business, Brandon?
Thank you, Mayor Watkins. Brought this special meeting together. Sorry. Mayor Reinhardt. Purpose of this meeting tonight, we wanted to host Steadfast Homes and their representatives to present and discuss their business plan and their desires for city-owned property in Schmidt Farms. So turn it over to John Henley and introduce his team. Kind of go over PowerPoint.
Hi, thanks for having us. This is Dana Paul's house and Mark Paul's house. Hey, she's my sister. So I guess I'm not.
Any tips?
I wasn't, he was working with himself.
This button not working?
So kind of, I guess to give you an idea of why where we're at is, they shut down plants down in Howe, the Boss Mountain Pools. 498 people that had jobs there. So we got to talking and, thought, well, maybe we could do something to help for some of these people. And, so we got, Dana and I got together and started talking, and I kind of had an idea in the back of my head for years, dealing with manufactured housing, but, a lady at church asked for prayers for them, and I said, well, I guess I could do more than I'm doing. I'm comfortable with what I'm doing, but if we could provide jobs for the community, then that would be a direction we could go. So I went and I thought about it for a while, and that night I went over to her house and we got to talking. And then it was kind of weird because they had somebody up that weekend, one of his friends out of Indy, that had said, hey, you guys want to start something out back in. So he owns a large company out in Indy. So moving forwards, we just kind of got to dealing with the figuring out the plans and stuff, and ended up calling the guy that started Dutch Housing. One of the ways we're looking at doing this is rather than me going and selling to a dealer, then we're going to do a factory direct, so people are going to come to us. So as I go through, you'll kind of see a little bit how it ties together. But so instead of us dealing with dealers that we have to produce models to sit on their lots, and that's a lot of overhead, then we can get rid of the dealer that has huge markup. I used to run over the road service. She worked in the service department, and she would see what the house sold for, and then see what they were charging the customer for. I know in my cousin's case, his house was probably $20,000 factory, but by the time the dealer was done, we set up and everything, it was 90,000, just about. So our thoughts are we can provide affordable housing at a cheaper price, but we'll have a higher profit margin, and then we can get back to the community through doing that. So our mission statement to provide high quality, sustainable, and affordable manufactured housing solutions that meet the evolving needs of the individuals and communities, ensuring efficient construction, innovative design, and strong commitment to enhancing the lives of residents and revitalizing neighborhoods. The problem was nationwide shortage of housing, I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube with people talking about these issues. And the one realtor was on there and said, if you were to double the amount of contractors building houses right now, it would take 10 years to catch up to them. So there's a major shortage of housing for being able to do it. And then affordable, like, I've had several people who do a lot of search bank and trust refurbs. We have repos I go do them. We had one in Coldwater we did. And there was a guy that really wanted it. He's only approved for $130,000. And it wasn't a great house, but they still were gonna ask $225,000, $250,000 for it. So you're just, I mean, the cost of housing is way up there, so, and then building the homes in a timely manner. So, we want to build the affordable housing to start, or from start to finish, which is the factory direct. Our goal is to put people in their houses for $200,000 or less. That's going to exclude the property. I mean, some of them will be able to do that, but if you get into it, you're paying a fortune for property, that's not going to work. But that would include the foundation, septic, well, putting a garage on for them. So we'll have to build all those relationships with people to do that stuff. Our target audience is going to be first-time home buyers, families age 20 plus, and all genders. So, business model, revenue streams are direct to consumer, and then removing dealerships from the equation guarantees more affordable home for the consumer. We're going to partner with subcontractors, parks, and individual developers. So one of the things that I did over the years kind of to go into that was I did service for Sun Homes, ARC, and those guys. So I still have relationships with some of those people that were in those parks and stuff. Sun Homes, I believe they're around 100,000 lots that they have for homes on them and stuff. And over time, the old ones will tear them off and replace them. And then they also have lots to buy new ones. One of my friends over in Coldwater, Maryland, Ostrander, just ordered 15 houses out of Kentucky. And then she's got a guy over there that's gonna be putting houses in for Clemens Group, and he's wanting to order houses through her because she's a dealer. So, then for operations, Steadfast Homes will oversee the project from start to finish. The value proposition, price, building affordable homes is important to us. And then this is going off of one plant, like sitting down, putting the numbers together. So projected revenue in the first year would be 32.5 million. Profitability on that should be 7.8 million. 2027, once we got to it, because I figure we're only gonna have about 6 months once we get stuff built to be able to start building, so that's kind of where you're there. 2027, 104 million. And we should be able to start improving our speed and stuff, so we'll get that up. So we'll be at 31.2 million for the profitability, and then 2028. And this is, like I said, all off of one plant. When we talked to Dwayne that owned Dutch Housing, he went from one plant to 5 plants in 3 years. And that was in a market that wasn't really good for building or getting into it. But he said if you sell it 5 cents cheaper than the next guy, everybody will line up to buy it from you. So having him to give us information and guidance has been good. Ultimately, I think in the end, we'll probably be around a 50% profit margin because of getting rid of the dealer. So that'll allow to give more money to the employees and stuff, and then also have more money to be able to give out to organizations and stuff that need donations. So our projected startup cost, product development, we're probably gonna be about 200,000. Marketing, we should be around 300,000 because we've got to build out website and do direct marketing to people. Startup for operations is gonna be around 600,000, and staffing is gonna be around 300,000 to get started until we get money coming in. The manufacturing infrastructure, this is just kind of guessing, because he's given us a high 4 to low 5 on the building that we're looking at putting in. He's still working on finishing up to give us total prices, because on top of that, he looked at the property out here. If we do that, we're gonna have to do, storm runoff, so he's gonna have to do a retention pond for that. The other thing is that property has water, but it doesn't have sewer, so we'll have to have holding tanks in for our solids. And then he'll put in a pump for gray water that'll come back and tie into the city, so that's part of, what he's figuring into, doing stuff for us. Market analysis, the current market of manufactured housing is 26.5 billion per year, with projections of the market reaching just over 33 billion by 2030. Originally I'd said 38 billion, but when we were going into this, we were looking at doing tiny houses as well. So I had both of them together, because the tiny house market is supposed to grow a ton too. We had looked at, because we always thought manufactured housing got slow in the winter. So what we would do is switch over, and for those 2 months, we would build tiny houses and then go back to build manufactured housing. But after talking to Wayne, he said, don't do that. If you're gonna do that, do it totally separate. So that might be something we'll get into down the road. The one guy that's been working with me on stuff thinks we should do tiny houses. But Dwayne said he doesn't believe buyers go away in the winter, sellers get lazy. So we said, well, with the way we're doing it, then, so this one's probably gonna be hard to read from here, but, for year one, we wanna build plant one, develop partnerships with subcontractors in region one, which is Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. Because of the way we're building this company out, we're not gonna be able to roll out and go nationwide right away, because having to find subs and stuff, I'm sure you're used to dealing with people at the hospital trying to get people, and we're gonna have to build that whole network out. So I'm thinking 3 states at a time is probably gonna be our max until we really get going at it. So year 2 to 3, we'd like to build plant 2, develop partnerships with subcontractors in region 2, which would be Kentucky, Tennessee, and West Virginia. Explain employee growth to about 260. Year 4, we would like to build plant 3, develop partnerships with subcontractors in region 3, Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Expand employee growth to approximately 380. Year 5, plant 4, develop partnerships with subcontractors in region 4, which would be Wisconsin, Illinois, and Minnesota. And 5, which would be Iowa, Missouri, and Arkansas. Expand employee growth to approximately 510. Years 6 through 10, build plant 5 and 6, develop partnerships with subcontractors nationwide. Expand employee growth from 750 to 800 people. So, that's our goal. And so this, when I was talking to you about the lending, he's right by your house over in Coldwater. Eric Ellison with Union Home Mortgage, we called and talked to him. We offered it to Sturgis Bank and Flagstar, and they just couldn't do what we needed. So he told us he's licensed in Michigan and Indiana. He told us he would also get Ohio as a licensing. And then as we expanded, he would continue to do it for us and continue to grow with us as we went. He's a Bronson graduate, class of 96. But they said they'd have no problem keeping up with the demand of what we would do. I mean, ultimately when we got to 6 plants, if we were running like full 48 weeks out of the year, we should be able to produce about 14,500 houses a year. So, and then he was talking about interest rates when we sat down with him, because they do construction loans on manufactured housing, but their interest rate, so say the interest rate right now is 7% on a standard home. Well, now they're only 0.25% higher. Back in the day, they were 5 points higher, so, but now they're only 0.25% higher too. So it makes it more affordable that way too. So, and then I graduated from Bronson as well. I worked production at Dutch for 4 years. And then we did over-the-road service and then did the parks. I did that for about 8 years. And then I've been running my own company for 15 years now, and do a lot of work for Servpro out of Branch County. Do a lot of work for Sturgis Bank and Trust, and I do a lot of work for the mayors for their stuff that they need, and then other customers throughout. But those are my 3 top customers. And then I just recently moved to Bronson year and a half ago, so I'm no longer a volunteer fireman because I'm not in Indiana anymore, so. Do you want to talk about yourself, or do you want me to talk about you?
You can talk about me, and this is why. This is why I'm on the phone, so I apologize. Tonight's a busy night for her.
So Dana graduated from Bronson, class of 95. She worked as a service rep for manufactured housing for 5 years, currently owns and operates a commercial and residential cleaning company, and has for 17 years, and then she currently owns and operates a prepared meal business, and has for the last 6 years. So, Mark graduated from Lakeland High School, class of 1992. He worked production for 7 years in manufactured housing, and then he's worked in the RV factories for the last 23. 15 of those years were in management. So he was one of the plant managers of those factories down there in Holland. So, so we just decided that, and that was one of the toughest things doing. He goes, well, you're gonna have to find a production manager. That's gonna be hard to do. And I said, I already got one. And then we also use, if you guys need our contact information, that was in there as well. And we have an accountant that we've been working with on it. And then we just recently got an engineer that we're working with. So he's starting to design houses for us, because ultimately I would like to go to the parks and have a bunch pre-sold before we even start running them down the line. That way we have stuff, so. Thank you.
John?
Thank you very much. You guys have any questions for me?
Never at the moment.
It's a lot of information
It
to
is.
take in, isn't it?
So, I guess a couple that just popped in mind. So you're looking more at mobile homes than modular homes?
So the reason we'll do HUD, and we might get into modulars, but the reason we'll do HUD is because HUD's nationwide. So if we get into modulars, then you have to meet local codes and state codes. So you can get yourself into a lot of dealing with stuff. So to be able to produce houses faster without having to dig through each local ordinance to, because I know Sturgis probably is doing construction. Sturgis is above and beyond what state code is. Like, they throw a bunch of stuff at you that nobody requires, but they do. So,
They have their own interpretation of the universal building code.
yep. So that was one of the reasons we decided, and like I said, we might eventually go to mods, but for now.
In HUD homes, more the banks working better? Insurance companies, or is there anything different in that?
So your HUD homes would have a frame
Yes, it is.
where a modular comes out. So a modular has a deed. HUD house has a title. Now, if you add to your HUD house, then you can trade in your deed, or you can get rid of your title and get a deed. So if you do an addition or anything on it, then it's become a permanent structure, but they claim you could still move it off of the foundation. So you can, that's why they have a title.
Yeah, I always heard something about the difference.
Yeah.
Now, the HUD homes, they are, well, they're manufactured, I'm finding the same. It used to be hard to finance them. I mean, they would finance them at like 17%. Yeah, and insurance, I think it has all come, full circle. They are much better about financing them, when we talk to Eric. And so we have not talked to an insurance agent, but I'm assuming with the amount that people that Clayton Homes and Champion Homes are selling, that insurance companies
That's
are.
what I was understood.
So Eric said the average cost of a house for him right now for double wides that he's doing is $250,000 to $270,000.
Yeah.
So your average stick built right now in the country is about just shy of $500,000. So that's why, well, we had talked about it a while back. He said, we're gonna have to do something. Our kids have never owned a house. So he just, they're just not out there yet. I think my mother-in-law bought one here in town. Maybe close to a year ago. And she paid $160 for it. And it needs new furnace, water heater, air conditioner. But the whole inside needs redone, they put a roof on it, inside of it. Like, wow.
Separator home?
Yeah. Yeah. It needs, it's paneling on the walls, and like, I can't believe you paid $160,000 for this. I remember back in the late nineties looking at houses for 30 or 40,000, thinking they wanted too much because of the condition they were in. I was like, I'll fix that up, and I'm like, nope.
Well, and being in the business, all three of us, you know, we've also said there are certain upgrades that will be, you know, mandatory or what, standard in, the bill because it could haunt us on the back end. You know, like for instance, if we have a leak, so, you know, the flooring, we would like to do OSB instead of the particle board, like jump board. You know?
Yeah, I didn't
That-
know
that
road
just
service for
falls
several years,
apart,
so
yeah.
we just started picking apart what the main problems were when I was running road service, and she was a service tech, we're like, we need to address this. Try to get rid of that. One of the other things that they never came standard with was water softener. And I never understood it. And then when you wanted to add pro water softener, they would just put it in the hallway next to the washer and dryer on stuff. And I was like, what if we go to a tankless water heater and mount it on the wall, and then where the water heater did sit, we can put a water softener in. That way it just comes standard instead of having the issues of rust and everything, so just giving those things.
Water softeners are important too.
Yeah, well,
We, out there, I work part-time factory creations. Theirs didn't work for a while. They're at 6 years. Actually, it's just,
Yeah, there are things that we would like to make standard.
and that's all,
That makes.
that's all that draws
sense.
people's attention, all that other extras.
And we can, you know, that can be part of the price because we're not involving the dealer who makes a lot of money.
Dealers, yeah, I can see that that's a plus.
Yeah,
Well, when I used to run over to service, I'd deliver parts to dealers, and about every one of them was racing or something. We're doing, so. But, well, you go to any store, go to a flooring store, like I buy that directly through Shaw. I can tell you that it's at least 100%, a lot of them are 200% markup flooring compared to what they're buying it for. But I understand they have to pay for a building to be there, pay for the lights and everything. I'll buy flooring at about $250 a square foot. The suggested retail is $869 a square foot on the website. So,
That's
yeah.
More questions?
no,
I think I've asked a lot in the last week already, so.
well, there, I do have a comment, and it's, I mean, it ties into the school, but, so I'm sure that probably people in Brunson would purchase some of our homes and, you know, put them in the area. And so when you are bringing more people into the area, plus with us creating jobs, you're bringing more people into the area, which also puts butts in the seat in the school, and so you're also getting more money, so it all, I mean, it's a win-win-win, so,
More taxes are brought in too.
yes, correct, correct.
I guess another question he had too that I don't know if he had shared with you guys was, he asked about if we'd be willing to give you guys a house a year or something. Or, so we said, well, like, if you want a house a year, or if you wanted, if you should want discounts on houses, or if you wanted us to come in and start developing areas with houses put in. And like you guys have lots, we buy them off, you put the house on and sell it. And that's an option too. So, whatever you want to work on, but that way it provides housing closer. So, when you start looking at people that, like, everybody's always like, where are you gonna find that number of people? Well, there were people down there that would drive from work over to Middlebury to work, like, if you're, yeah.
we have people at the hospital that drive from Fort Wayne, Davidson. And so, you know, people today, I'm the oddball because I complain about driving here to Coldwater. But, you know, we have employees that drive an hour plus, and it doesn't bother them a bit.
And these jobs should, like, just from being around factories and stuff, 60 would be the low end that they would pay. And it would be from 60 to 100,000, just depending on how production's going. And that's one of the things we were talking about, is like, I don't know that Clemens has been a huge benefit for Coldwater, because they're bringing all their employees with them and then taxing the system with people that, so it's,
I think their benefit to Coldwater is they built all the apartments over there at South Trail.
Yeah.
You know, they bought the hotel and
Yeah.
have converted that to living quarters.
but
I know they,
ideally you want your employees to be able to be out spending money in the community and get more
And
than
a lot
just
of
one
them-
grocery store.
A lot of them are short terms that come here, they're here for, what is it, just shy of 6 months, and then they have to go home for a while.
I know they bus them in. We do a lot of work over there this summer. I see them, buses come in, take them about Creek.
Yeah.
Those apartments, what's that?
South Trail,
Hotel right there
well, they bought the old,
by Walmart.
Yep.
Like a lot of trailer park people from what I understand, and they're rented by the bedroom. So,
they're making,
yeah. Yeah.
You have a lot of interest here in Brunswick. Come to school here, being from here.
Well, so we were gonna buy the building down there originally. That's what our goal was to put people back in those factories. So she got a hold of them. And when they went to, they said, we'll let you know once we have a realtor look at it and stuff. So they came and looked at it. We were interested in the one. They didn't want to sell it. They've only got one they want to sell. And we were thinking that we could just grow it in the complex and just take over all of it. And so the one they wanted to sell, I don't know if you're familiar with the area down there by the Toro or not, but there was a skyline. There was a skyline at one time, but down there, it's on the north side of the toll road, just before you go under it. Building was built in the 70s, and they called her and they said, well, we'd like 5.2 million for that building. And so then in talking to Jim Ware, he goes, that means all the sprinkler systems and everything. So then you're all that money out on it, and then where are you gonna expand to, because it's all built up around it. So actually, when she called me and told me I was coming back from Coldwater, and I was getting ready to drive in the house, I said, well, what do you think about this? Okay, I'm okay with that. So then I called Bill and said, hey, what do you guys have? So I'd gone out and looked at the industrial park here, and I was like, nothing there's big enough. And then I was looking at both ends of town. And Mallows had that ground out there, but it's not like, if you're bringing that many people, you're gonna create a bottleneck big time. And so, and then houses coming in out there where, out here, you've got Fair Road that they come across Casmeric, they come up Laurel, come across Casmeric and hit Fair or something to be able to go back.
That all work is for them.
Yeah.
Especially when you're pulling out 80-foot houses
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, so, and they'd be able to get out on 12 and stuff. The other thing is that, having a relationship with mayors, if we ever needed to rent a place to park extras, I think I could probably rent ground across the road off or something.
That works out pretty good too.
So,
Bill's, you have us in touch. So,
trying to put us.
done a great job keeping us, updated. Appreciate all that.
ready for your steps. All right.
I guess we'll go into closed session and have some discussion.
Okay.
If we have a motion.
I'll make a motion to close session.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Closed session.
You know, private talks.